Okay, kiddos, ready? I just want you to know that I really do miss you. I really do not like looking at a pillow or a couch or a wall to read to or this camera. I much rather have your faces in front of me, and I truly, truly miss you. But here we go, Chapter 9, Button Forever. It's Thursday, and I wake up thinking about buttons again. How many do I actually have? Which color do I have the most of? How many of each size do I have? Of all the buttons I have, which has the largest diameter and the smallest? Then I remember what Ben said to me yesterday in the kitchen, and I think maybe Ben's right. Maybe I really am a crackpot. Not really fond of that word, but it means that she's crazy in case you haven't figured that out by now. 45 minutes later, I feel even more like an oddball because right before I leave the house to go to the bus stop, I run upstairs to my room, grab a big handful of cranberry red buttons, and toss them into my backpack. I just feel like I want to have some buttons with me at school today, which is definitely strange. But as I drop into the seat near the back of the bus, I discover that my strange condition is not unique because in the row right in front of me, four boys are arguing about buttons. Are you kidding? Metal buttons are always better than plastic. Anybody knows that. And if the metal one is off some kind of uniform, that's the best. End of discussion. Okay, but what if you had a plastic one shaped like a Millennium Falcon or something? I think that would be lots better than some old metal button. Well, maybe, but you're never going to see that in your whole entire life. Another kid has his phone out. Hey, look at this. They huddle around the screen and one of them reads aloud, handmade Millennium Falcon button. Whoa, I'd trade an army button for that thing any day. There's a Chewbacca button too, and R2D2, and Darth Vader. That is so cool. But the thing that I think is cool, not one of these guys was anywhere near my lunch table yesterday, and none of them are in Mrs. Casey's social studies class either. How come they're talking about buttons? I walk myself through it. Okay, by the end of lunchtime yesterday, let's say there were 22 kids around our table, and probably half of them were boys. And each one walked away thinking about buttons. Plus, each had 7 or 8 new buttons in his pocket. And let's say those 11 guys each mentioned buttons or showed some to 3 other guys, then that would be 33 more boys. And if each one of them mentioned buttons to 3 or 4 more others, then just like that, we're up to more than 100 guys with brand new interest in buttons. It's a decent theory, but I need to test it. Excuse me, I heard that you boys were saying something now. How come you're talking about buttons? The boy with the phone turns and looks at me. Everybody's talking about them. That's all. Everybody. But like, what got you started talking about buttons? He stared at me. I don't know. Who cares? I care. I just like to know. And I smile at him. A different boy says, what are you, the button police or something? A kid laughs and says, look out, it's the button squad. Another guy snarls in a deep voice, all right, you punks, up against the wall and hand over all your buttons. They keep goofing around and laughing, and some of the other boys near the back of the bus join in. So I guess this has turned into an experiment about guys showing off for each other, or maybe just showing off for me. But science keeps marching forward no matter what, and I remember something that might be useful. I reach into the bottom of my book bag, grab some buttons, and face the boys. Hey, phone guy. The kid looks up from his screen. What? I hold out my hand. These aren't metal, but I've got some questions. And I'll give you 2 or 3 of these blood red buttons for each question you can answer. Deal? Now I've got the whole group's attention. The kid with the phone smiles. Sure, deal. Okay, so when did you start thinking about buttons? Yesterday in the afternoon. How come? This guy, James Kenny, he's in my art class, and he started sliding some buttons around on our table, making shapes and patterns and stuff, and then all of us started using them like little air hockey pucks, just messing around, and somebody thought that they were cool. Great, that's all I wanted to know. Thanks. And I dropped 4 blood red buttons onto his outstretched hand. A very small price to pay for totally proving a theory. I stay on high alert during the rest of the ride to school, and also as I walk through the halls as we arrive, and I observe 6 more conversations about buttons. When I get to homeroom, I'm a little out of breath. I look for Ellie. She's over by the window with Taylor, Brooke, and Diana. Hi guys, you'll never guess what happened on my bus ride today. Wait, Ellie says, and then she sticks her arm in front of my eyes. What do you think? She has a bracelet on her wrist, and it's made of small white buttons. Brooke says, isn't it beautiful? Taylor adds, and the buttons are all made out of seashells, right? Ellie nods. They're mother of pearl. All I did was string them like flat beads onto this thin elastic cord, and now I can stretch it on and off, just like a candy charm bracelet. Here. Ellie rolls it off, lifts my left hand, and slips it onto my wrist. I hold out my arm and study the bracelet. Again, Ellie has surprised me. I can't remember her ever doing something creative like this. It looks great on you. Do you want to keep it until lunch? It's really pretty, but I think you should wear it, I say, and I hand it to her. Okay, I can see Ellie's glad that I gave her bracelet back. Then Taylor says, hey, you started to tell us something about your bus ride, right? Oh, that. It wasn't important, which isn't quite true. But I'm thinking like a scientist now, at least I'm trying to, because I want to see if the kids are behaving in a certain way and also why. So, should I go around talking about this particular condition that I'm analyzing? Or because that could start changing the results of my own study, which is bad science, especially if I talk about the condition with people whom I think already have the condition I'm observing. And these girls, they absolutely have the condition that they've got button fever. I mean, I've got button fever too, but here's the thing. I know I've got it. Ellie, Taylor, Brooke, and Diana, they're like those boys on the bus. They've got it, but they don't really know it. Not yet. Once the day begins, I stay close to Ellie whenever we have classes together or when I see her in the halls and at lunch. Each time she shows her bracelet to someone, or each time someone notices it or asks about it, I make a detailed note. Ellie is never shy about showing off something new or special, and she has lots of friends. By the time she steps onto the bus Thursday afternoon, I have observed 39 girls and 12 boys in grades 4, 5, and 6 who each got a close-up look at Ellie's bracelet. That's 51 kids. Of course, there's no quick way to know that those 51 kids thought about Ellie's bracelet or whether any of those kids might have told any other kids about it. And I'm sure Ellie showed her bracelet to some additional kids when I wasn't around. Even so, I think I've got enough data to support a very simple theory. Avery Elementary School is going to see a dramatic increase of button fever, and it will probably happen soon. And I will leave it there. But I'm sure Isaac's doing the math. Charlotte's hoping for a romance to come about. Natalia and Penelope are arguing with each other, and the rest of my group is going crazy if they had this book in front of them with their post-it notes, like Miss Gabby. Okay, chapter 10 is coming up.